Okay. Thanks everybody for joining in this afternoon as we attempt to, provided that we have all of the little technical last minute details fixed that went wrong. Anyway, welcome. And what we hope to do today is to spend the bulk of our time in a breakout session. So I'm just going to get started with these very few introductory slides. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to give you a brief session introduction, show you the agenda. Alicia Alman, who is the product owner for Earthdata Search, is going to do a demo. I want everybody to really pay attention because she tried so hard to be here and she got cloud struck and could not get here until this evening or Wednesday evening, I believe it was. So anyway, she's going to present remotely. Then we're going to give you the charge to the breakout groups. That's the bulk of what we're going to do today. And then we'll do report back and we'll be done, right? Okay. So Frank and I are going to introduce you to the session. We're pretty informal here with everything that we're doing because what we're really focusing on is the feedback that you have for us and taking that feedback and making sure that we're able to incorporate it into future features within Earthdata Search. So here is the list of your session conveners. What we're hoping is that each one of us present here today, and that's the first few in the list, will work with each breakout group to make sure that you can run through your use cases and record your findings in a set of breakout slides that we did for you just to help capture the feedback. Okay, and so why are we here? So we've been working for a really, really long time to expand our metadata model and to make sure that we include all the information in that metadata model such that everyone can find whatever earth science data they are looking for. And so our goal has been to make sure that within Earthdata Search, which is the primary gateway into all of the holdings that we have in Earthdata Cloud of Earth Science observations, to make sure that those services are exposed to you in a way that when you find the data you need, you're ready to work with it. Okay. So what we're going to do is through the breakout group participation, we're going to record your paths to solving the use cases and identify any challenges. And then we're going to ask you to rate discoverability, filtering, visualization, and access to the data that you were seeking. Okay, and so we also want to know how you want to see services exposed such that the data that you find can be manipulated in the way that makes your work the easiest. So the whole heart and soul of this session is capturing your feedback, okay? And so we'll talk about how we're going to do that and so forth here in just a few minutes. But the next thing that I want to do is show you kind of the timeline in detail here. So we're going to spend almost an hour, exactly an hour here in the breakout session. But at 5:15 we want to stop, and there's one slide in your deck that is a summary of your entire breakout session. And what we're hoping is that we wrap up by each breakout session, a person from each session spending 3 minutes hitting the highlights of what you found, okay? And then we'll spend a few minutes wrapping up. And so she said she's in. Alicia.
Yay. I'm here. Hi.
Yay! Okay, so we're going to show you a short demo, and then we'll get started organizing our breakouts. So I guess I can stop sharing if you want to let Alicia.
Actually, can you advance to the next slide? And then after I talk through that slide, I'll take over the screen share.
Sounds good.
Okay, cool. Hi, hello everyone. Good afternoon. Can you all hear me okay?
Perfect.
Yeah. Good. Okay, awesome. I'm Alicia. I am the product owner for Earthdata Search, and I'm really sorry that I couldn't be there with you in person today, but I'm really glad that I'm able to join you remotely. Glad this worked out. So Tammy's asked me to do a quick high-level walkthrough of how to use Earthdata Search before you all organize into your breakout groups. So I'm going to be covering a ton of ground in a very short amount of time. So there probably won't be time for questions at the end, but I will be available online for the duration of the session if questions do come up. So real quick, in case you are not familiar with what Earthdata Search is and what it's designed to do, it is a web application that enables users to discover and access Earth observation data from NASA, as well as other US and international agencies across the Earth science disciplines. It is a single point of entry for searching more than 1 billion individual data files all in one place, and makes it possible to get the data you're interested in and only that data quickly and easily. And it's designed to ease the technical burden on data users by providing a tool that makes it simple to search for, evaluate, and access Earth science satellite data. So one important note before I jump to the demo, an Earthdata login account is required to download and access data using Earthdata Search. It's something that's required by NASA. Setting up an account is free and easy to do. I've included the link for creating an account in a slide, but I'm sure the panelists in the room can help you all create one if you need to when you're in the breakout groups. Okay, let's jump over to Earthdata Search for the demo, and I'm going to try to share my screen. Oh. So I think you need to disable your screen share before I can take it over.
Colette's got it.
Okay,
So bear with us just a second.
no worries.
I will say, because somebody asked me earlier, perfect lead in for this. So the Earthdata login account, people were, if I run the ACSL survey, and people were asking me how do we know to send it out, that's where we get our list. Actually, we send it to the people that have active,
And there's an opt-out option.
and there is, yeah. Only the people that have visited us the last year, and they have not opted. Those are
Okay, can you guys see my screen?
Give us 1 second. All right, it's all good now. Thanks.
Yay. Okay. So I've broken this demo up into 3 sections. First, I'm going to walk through how to search for data. Second, we'll look at the kinds of information available that can help you determine whether data is suitable for your needs. And lastly, I'll walk through how to download and access data. So let's first get our bearings here before jumping into the search functionality. So Earthdata Search can be divided into 3 main components. So the search panel all the way over on the left side is where search criteria are entered. The results panel to the right of that displays the data sets, also known as collections, that match the search criteria that's entered. And the map on the right can be used to both search for and visualize data directly on the map. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is log into the application. And to do that, I'm going to go up to the upper right-hand corner here and click on the Earthdata login button. Going to enter in my credentials, hit enter, and I'll be redirected back over to the application. There it goes. And I know I'm logged in when I see my name displayed up in that header. So now, search functionality. So really the best way to demo Earthdata Search's core functionality is to follow a use case. And so for this demo, I'm going to follow a really simple one, but it includes the main components of a search, which are a keyword or term, a temporal range, and a spatial area of interest. So the use case I picked for today is we're going to search for soil moisture data in North Carolina spanning the last 5 years. So yeah, really simple use case. So to enter a term or keyword, I'm going to head on over to the search box in the upper left corner of the application in the search panel. Click my mouse in the search box and enter in a term. So I can really enter in any term I want here. It could be a science parameter, the name of a satellite or instrument, or the dataset title or ID if I know it. Since I know I'm after soil moisture data, I'm going to enter in the term soil moisture and hit enter. And the list of matching collections in that results panel is going to update. It's going to refresh momentarily. There it goes. All right, to set a date or temporal range, I'm going to select the calendar icon just below that search box, and then click on each of the start and end boxes to enter my temporal range. So I said I was interested in data spanning the last 5 years. So I'm going to go ahead and put my start date and my end date as today and hit apply. And that is also going to update the search results based on that selection. So finally, I'm going to select a geographical area of interest. Now, there are a couple different ways to do this in the application, but first I'm going to pan and zoom the map over to North Carolina. So I can just click, grab, and drag here, head on over to North America and zoom in so I can get a little better view of North Carolina. A little closer. There we go. Now, if I want to just quickly draw a rough a rough area of interest on the map, I can do that by selecting this map icon tool, which is just under the search box and to the right of that calendar icon. And I'm presented with a couple of options for shapes I can draw. So I can choose to draw a polygon, a rectangle, I can select points, or I can draw a circle. So I'm going to choose polygon. And that selection, when I made that selection, you'll see that it turned my mouse into a selection tool. So I'm going to just draw a really rough polygon around North Carolina. This is good. We're good. All right, pretty good. Once I close that polygon, it's going to execute the spatial search, and those results in the results panel are going to update again. Now, for a more precise spatial search, there is an option to upload a shapefile containing multiple points or shapes, and Earthdata Search will draw the spatial region on the map for you. I'm not going to demo that today because it takes too much time. But so I've covered, how to enter search terms, how to set a temporal range, and select a geographical area of interest. Now we're going to go look at some of the predefined filters, what we call facets, that can be used to filter search results. So facets are displayed over in the search panel on the left. These different categories represent different attributes of the data, including science keywords, platforms, instruments, organizations, projects. I can filter data by whether or not it has associated map imagery, if I can customize the data prior to download, or if I'm only interested in data that's available in the cloud, I can filter for that data as well. To filter search results using facets, you can click to expand the category. Let's click instruments. And from there, you can start making your different selections. So just as an example, let's restrict this one by the SMAP L-band radiometer. And that selection is going to update the search results in that panel. So facets can be used in any combination to narrow your search results, and then each selection will update those list of collections in the results panel. So I'm going to make a few selections here to get some data sets that we can look at to demonstrate some other functionality. And while that refreshes, we're going to move on from the search functionality over to take a look at the information that we get back for each of the matching collections in the results panel. So the first thing I want to point out is that the search results are sorted by usage by default, meaning that the most popular data sets matching your search criteria will be listed first. But if I want to view the search results based on relevancy, I can do that by hovering over the sort button here and selecting relevance, and those results will be refreshed and sorted by relevancy. Now for each data set, the results panel displays some basic information about what the data set is and some of the features that it supports, including its title, the number of individual files contained within the collection, and a set of badges tells us if a collection supports more advanced features. So the map badge tells us that the collection supports advanced map visualizations. These customization badges tell us about the types of advanced services that are available for the collection, like spatial and variable subsetting and other types of data transformations that can be performed before you download data. So you'll notice that as I hover over this, this collection, there's a little eye icon that pops up. And clicking on that icon will take me to a page that provides a bit more descriptive information about the data that's in that collection. But it's still a subset of all the information available. If I want to view the full set of descriptive information for a collection, I can click on View More Info, and that'll take me to a page. There it goes. Or I can learn information about associated variables and services and tools. I can learn about how to cite this data, and I can also get access to documentation such as user guides. So let's go back over to the search results list. So once I've identified a collection, one more click here, a collection of interest, clicking on the collection itself allows me to see a list of individual data files, also called granules, that are associated with that collection. So I'm going to select this SMAP Sentinel-1 product. Okay, so the page has been updated and there's some new information available to us. So let's break this down a little bit. The search panel on the left now offers several granule file filter options that allow me to further refine the list of granules based on some criteria that are determined by the specific data set that I've collected or that I've selected. The results panel now displays a list of the individual granules in the collection, and similar to the collection results panel, some basic information about the files is displayed. If I want to learn more about the granule, I just select this More Actions and View Details button here to view more information about that granule. Now over on the map, we now see some granule footprints. These are outlined in green. This allows me to see how each of the granules in this collection overlaps with my area of interest. So it's kind of hard to see probably on the screen you're looking at, but you can see the individual granule footprints here, and then underneath in blue, you can still see that polygon that I drew around North Carolina. I get a pretty good visual of how these different granules overlap with the area that I'm interested in. And when available, I can also view sample imagery. So you can see some of these granules have sample imagery associated with them, and they display right over the map. And this really just gives me a sort of a preview or an approximation of the data that's actually contained within the collection. And finally, at the bottom of the page, there's a timeline. And the timeline shows a visual representation of the temporal range of the granules and how that overlaps with my selected data range. So this, my selected date range is this is sort of shaded in red here. The temporal range of the actual files is this labeled green bar here that you see. And I can pan through this timeline by grabbing it and dragging it left and right. I can change the temporal resolution by clicking on this button here. I can look at it based on year, month, or even down to the day. And then I can also use the timeline to adjust my my selected temporal area. If I want, I can grab this this little handlebar here, and I can drag this along the timeline, and that selection will update the results panel with a new set of collection or granules rather that meet that criteria. Okay, so we've covered how to search for data, how to evaluate search results, and how to visualize sample data on the map. The last thing I'm gonna cover is how to download and access data. So If I want to download individual files, individual granule files in this particular collection, I can do that by simply hovering over the individual granule and selecting the green plus, the plus icon. So I'll go ahead and add a few of these here. That's good. I can also add files from an entire collection if I want. So I'll go back to the search results, and which one do I want to select? Maybe this one. I'm going to add this entire collection by clicking that green plus icon there. And then maybe I'll add a few more individual files. This one. There we go. Add a few more of these files. Okay, so when I select a granule, the files are automatically added to a project, and projects allow users to add multiple data files or entire collections for download at the same time. So now that I've added all of the data that I want to my project, I can start the download process by clicking on the My Project button up here in the top right of the header, just to the left of where I logged in. Select my project. And once this project loads, I'm going to get a preview of everything I'm about to download. Give this a second to finish loading. Okay, so a couple things I want to point out here. So on the left-hand panel, you can see an actual number and approximate size of the files that I'm about to download that's listed up here at the top. On the map, I can see how each of the granule files overlap spatially. So I can see those granule footprints here. I can see my polygon, and I can see some of the map imagery as it overlays spatially. I can also see how each of these different data sets overlap on the timeline temporally down here below. And then the last thing, I'm presented with some options about how I want to download my data. So for each of these we'll do something a little bit different. So for this first one, we're going to go with downloading all the data. This selection is going to give me everything in that file. I'm going to grab all the data in that file. For the next one, let's do a customization. So when this option is available for certain collections and it's selected here, you'll be presented with some configuration options. And these are really dependent upon the collection itself. So for this one, it looks like we've got options to reformat the file format. So let's just say we want to reformat this one to NetCDF4. We have the option of doing a spatial subset on this one. I won't enter that just yet. And then I can also choose, I could do some band subsetting if I want. So let's just say I'm just interested in this particular band. Once I've made all my selections, I click the green download data button. And the application is going to redirect me to a download status page. And this is really just kind of what it sounds like. I get a status of each of the downloads that are in progress. And once they've completed their processing, I'm given a list of links to actually grab that data. You can grab them individually, or you can grab all of them at the same time by clicking this green download files button. Whew, that's the demo. I know that was a lot of information over a very short period of time, but I wanted to make sure you guys felt comfortable as you go into your breakout groups. And again, I'll be around if questions come up while you work through those use cases. Thank you and have fun.
Thank you, Alicia. So now we need to switch back to the slides. Colleagues.
Okay, great.
Yeah, 2020. Okay. 15 minutes for report.
just don't want that blocking. Okay. Here. Okay, I'm Jennifer Brennan, and I'm going to give you a few instructions for the breakout groups. So what we want you to do now is self-organize into 5 like equal-ish breakout groups. So one person in the group should have a laptop for conducting the search. You're going to select a use case from the list, which I'll put up in just a minute. And one of the people in your group should use a laptop to capture the feedback for the feedback slides. Okay. As you work through the use case, you're going to record the name, and I'll show you the links to those slides in just a few moments. You're going to record the name of your use case. You're going to take note of your path, like what steps did you take for your use case, and also any challenges or barriers that you had as you were going through those steps. We want you to rank your level of difficulty, where 1 is going to be very little difficulty and 5 will be great difficulty. And you're going to rank data discoverability, data access, and data visualization. Okay, and the slides will outline what you need to rank those, those categories. You'll see that on your slides. It's a template, so you can just go ahead and follow those. We want you to tell us in the comments area what services were available to work with the data, and also suggest how we might improve those services, or what services were not there that you might have wanted to work with those specific data sets. So what we're going to do, you're going to take approximately 20 minutes or so for the breakout session, and then first organize yourselves, obviously, and then take about 20 minutes to work on your use cases that you select. And then we'll have about 15 minutes for the person who's capturing the feedback to capture that feedback in the slide deck. Okay, so let me move on to, can everybody see? So here are your use cases. And then after that, we've got the Google link. So the link to this is in the ESIP session, right?
It is.
Yes. Okay. So if you go to the ESIP session, you'll be able to pull up a link for each of the 5. We've got 6 breakout. Do you want 6 breakout groups?
Well, I thought the 6th one would be for the online.
Okay.
I can't see how many there are, so I don't know.
Okay. Okay, so 5 breakout groups in the room and potentially 1 online where Alicia will monitor that. So what we're going to do is, if you have any questions, you have help, the conveners, so Frank and myself, Tammy, who else is in the room here? Sandra also will be going around. Jenny, we will help you if you have any questions as you're going through with Earthdata Search, or you're having trouble with creating your Earthdata login if you have not done that yet. And with that, why don't we get started in organizing into your breakout groups.
So Jennifer,
Yes.
finish real quick in 5 minutes, then you can go contract more time.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
don't
So we
do it.
suggest. Okay. So basically, the idea is to complete as many use cases as you think you have time for. But you might not know that until you get started on this use case that you've selected. So maybe the first one is tricky. You'll have to kind of judge that in your groups, right? So, all right. With that, congregate into your.
Each set of slides has an example of a use case.